Is it me? Is it my mic? Ah, shit. Okay. Where is... Yeah, that doesn't work. Like, I've tried that 100 times and it still doesn't. Every time you restart your computer, no. No. Okay. All right. Oh boy. Already it looks... I lost a subscriber. Wow. The poor children. What a waste. God, what does Carl say? Wow. The poor children. No, wait. Wow. What a waste. The poor children. Okay. That's the... That doesn't show up. Didn't show up until... What did Extra Zero send me? Mainstream document. Yeah, political stuff. Not tonight. Not quite. Okay, and paste. Man, I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail on that. Yeah, I was not ready for that. And... Huh. Yeah, usually I put this all in the chat like the second that it goes live, but no, this is like improv, completely improv today. Like I didn't even have a what is it? I did not have a thumbnail ready even. Like I've had for some of these others. Actually, you know what? let's just show you what I'm doing here live over on the YouTube's doing more content, more quality. Okay. Okay, and do I really want to put it on? Oh no, it's Alex's. Nah, they'll just, wait a minute. Wait, hold a second. Self-promotion. Yeah, there's mine from the other day. I swear I saw someone. Wait a minute, that's... No? Was it on side scrollers? We'll be double dipping. Oh man, I don't. Alex doesn't like politics, but so I'm gonna go behind his back and go to side scrollers. The #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on the internet. Okay. No, Alex already does Dreamcast Guy content like every Saturday. So, or is it Frit? Is it Fritanga plays? I don't know. Let's get that. And don't worry, Chatham. I'll watch your shit later. Urban Langdon has like 600, 500 people in a space. Okay, now I'm kind of curious.
I'll make a list. There are actually things that most people agree on. You can choose your polarizing topic: the border, abortion, guns, Ukraine, you name it. There are things that most Americans will.
But yeah, today was entirely, like I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna stream. We're just gonna go. We're gonna throw this shit out there. But like tomorrow, I recently got Trip World DX, so yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, Trip World DX from. Oh no, from the people that fired their. From the company that fired their community manager. Whatever. I'm not buying from them as a retailer anymore. They're like shit's just gone downhill from there. Okay. Anyway, the main course, Dreamcast Guy. Oh! Oh! I hate Suicide Squad. Oh my god! Oh my god. Wait. I can go one step further. Shit. There it is. Sounds like plastic. Let's go. Okay, that should not have come up. Okay. This broke me. Look, he even has a Sony PlayStation shirt. Like, bro's like a Sony. I call yourself Dreamcast Guy. I mean, you obviously Tony, who fucking like look at his header right here. He only cares about this. He only cares about. I learned this today. He only cares about this. He only cares about this. Not this. Definitely not this. And never about this. I hate Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League. I can just hear his voice. So, is the PS5 going to fail? Let's talk price, release, and specs. You think I'm joking when I Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey! Hey, that's a copyrighted song.
Dreamcast Guy here, talking to What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, talking today about the PlayStation 5 Pro, because this is a system that's had a ton of leaks about it, possible technical specifications, how good the graphics are going to be, how expensive the system is going to be, and most importantly, when we're going to play it.
That's nice. That's nice, Senator. Why don't you show me a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
But today, specifically, I want to talk about the leaks and the people that are claiming this system is going to totally fail. There's been a surprising amount of anti-Sony sentiment. People that are
totally fail. You won't know it failed until you try, right? Like, if you never... Like, you don't know if something will fail until, like, it's already been released, right? Right? Because that happened to SEGA, like, twice in a row, and we saw how that turned out. You would know. You have the Dreamcast to cap. Just like DSP, he made a brand, his own brand, with the.
Thinking the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be a colossal flop, and I must admit, I'm fascinated by their complaints, by their criticisms, and I do think they raise some fair points. But let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm sure you noticed I accidentally shaved my beard off, so now I just have this adult movie 80s stash, but it'll grow back. So, now I think a lot of this PlayStation 5
Well, at least my face, it doesn't look like the light side of the moon.
Pro talk today was stirred up by Tom Henderson. This guy is the premier PlayStation leaker. He's the guy who...
I'm sorry, it's... like... Bro, how old are you to still have craters on your face like that? Bro, you have worse acne than acne scars than Tomonobu Itagaki. And that guy's face looks like oatmeal.
First talked about the PlayStation Portal, the PlayStation 5 Pro, and the PlayStation Slim. So far, all of his guesses, if you could even call them that, have been 100% accurate, but he's actually responding to the fact that a lot of people are thinking that possibly we could see the PlayStation 5 Pro as early as Monday. Sony has announced they're doing a short showcase at the Consumer Electronic Expo, CES, and so usually when they're there, it's to talk about the more Sony side of business. New TVs, headphones, phones, laptops, stuff like that, but, you know, occasionally...
They still... How he has just put his head down like... Bro.
They have done PlayStation announcements. They actually talked about the specifications of the PlayStation 5 and even revealed the PS5 logo at CES. So the idea of them possibly being there and talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't impossible, but he basically says it's
I thought the PS5 logo was... Hold up. Bro, like, it's fake. There's no trademark. Enhance. That's not... Okay, I guess it only does the page. Fine, we're doing this. Trademark.
Probably coming out in like October or November, so them discussing it now would be a bit strange. Now, the specifications of the PlayStation 5 Pro, we keep getting more and more leaked details about it. I do think the PlayStation 5 Pro is actually going to be very, very impressive. There's discussions about DLSS to make the visuals more clean, AI up.
Who's Nick Tech?
Scaling, neural processing units. I mean, a lot of stuff that's going to make it so the system, even if it's not tremendously double or triple the power of the current PlayStation 5, it will be able to look way, way better when it actually hits your screen, especially if you have an expensive television. Now, in case you haven't seen it, I did do a video separately talking about the actual gobbledygook serious technical details, but the main thing you got to know is that it's about 65% more powerful, 67% more powerful than a base PlayStation 5, and it seems like the purpose of the PS5 Pro is for the most high-end games.
Imagine just sucking off the corporate cock with this. Just like there's nothing special about PlayStation other than it's just a plastic box with high-end PC parts in it, and he's acting like it's oh, the best thing ever. Yeah, the special SSD. Get an SSD pretty easily for your PC too. Same kind of SSD too.
Stuff like GTA 6, which is very CPU heavy, it's essentially trying to make games that typically would be a real power pusher stay at a steady 60 FPS, if not higher. Now, I do want to make it clear, the current PlayStation 5 is still a beast. I play mine literally every day. In fact, even right now, I'm working on a review for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and the game runs at 120 FPS on the PlayStation 5. So it's not like the PS5 is weak, but that's part of why a lot of people are discussing the idea of if the announcement of the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to somehow hurt the sales of the PlayStation 5. It is an optional upgrade for those who are willing to pay for better performance. PlayStation 5 will not sell crazy numbers, and that's totally fine with Sony. Look at how the PS4 Pro did, and it didn't actually negatively affect the longevity or health.
No, it's not going to be good for Sony. They jacked the price up for the Slim. They jacked the price up for the Slim. And oh, I think this cap is cutting off circulation to my brain.
The base PlayStation 4. Now, my major actual motivation for this entire video is this article I saw by Paul Tassi, because I agree with it and I disagree with it. Sometimes Paul Tassi, I think,
he's right, you know, because we know the PS5 and Xbox, like, they're both just plastic boxes with with the same hardware inside. There's nothing special in there. The Neo Geo, that thing had a special custom hardware. The Sega Saturn had custom hardware. It was basically a miniature arcade board in there. That's how they had exact one-to-one ports of Daytona USA and Virtual Fighter, Fighting Vipers, Sonic the Fighters, and oh shoot, what was the Fighting Vipers? Oh yeah, a whole bunch of Capcom fighting games on Sega Saturn. They were all one-to-one ports, and they ran beautifully. They ran flawlessly. Even their ports onto the Dreamcast. Mr. Dreamcast Guy. Every Capcom fighting game port to Sega's hardware was flawless because they were both arcade master. They were both masters of the arcade, basically.
Is not my favorite writer. I think some of his opinion pieces are a bit too sharp, but you know what? I'll actually take a person that is.
Right. Take the fucking hat off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just change where I'm keeping those hats.
Intelligently saying something I disagree with is sometimes more entertaining than persons that are agreeing with me. You know, I want to hear someone say stuff I think is wrong in a more eloquent fashion so that I can pick it apart. So,
you know how big of a paradox you are, little man? Hold on. Let me see where's my... Right, so I have to look down. Okay. Do you know how paradoxical your thoughts are, little man? Do you?
he has this really interesting breakdown of bullet points that I wanted to go over with you guys. So here it is. So essentially the whole crux of his argument is the fact that right now, the PlayStation 5 is already a huge, huge success. The PlayStation 5 is already outselling the Xbox 3-1. I mean, this is statistically proven. The PS5 is a tremendous, tremendous success, not just in sheer numbers, but in sales and profitability and raw units. I mean, the PS5 is a huge, huge hit. So would launching a PlayStation 5 Pro actually make sense? There are some significant differences from the PlayStation 4 Pro. The PS5 suffered from serious supply issues for the first 2 years of launch, causing many delayed purchases from consumers. So even if we're 4 years into the console generation instead of 3 like the PS4 Pro, it may still feel too soon to upgrade for many. Now, this is a great point. Obviously, I look at the comments a lot. There is just a huge batch of people that have been sitting with $500 in their pocket waiting to buy the PlayStation 5 until they could actually find one, and that's finally happened. The amount of people that I see in the comments talk about just now getting a PlayStation 5 while actually having saved up for games and exclusives and stuff like that back in 2020, I saw literally thousands of those comments last year. So here's the other thing. On the other side of the coin, being 4 years into the console generation may make early adopters feel like they might as well just wait for the PlayStation 6, especially if the upgrades to that console do not seem especially game-changing, power edge aside, as it's always a big ask to upgrade an entire console for a new one that already works perfectly well, or you can buy a normal one for much cheaper. Now, this is the one argument that I definitely disagree the most specifically with, because, I mean, I love my PlayStation 5 a lot. I did get a PlayStation 4 Pro. I liked my PlayStation 4 Pro, and I think a lot of it is that I got a PlayStation 4 at launch. I got my PlayStation 5 at launch. So now that it's already been 4 years.
I got a PS4 after like the first 6 months because it had some games I was looking forward to that were still not even on PC yet. then I traded in so I could get a PS4 Pro, which because that thing, that original PS4, that thing was underpowered. Like, then I just stopped buying it. Then fast forward to 2021 when shit hit the fan, and I just don't buy PlayStation games anymore.
Since I've had it, for me, I'm willing to pay even if it isn't the biggest upgrade. Now, again, I am a professional reviewer. I'm more inclined to buy hardware and stuff, but my mentality about this is the fact that, in my mind, people that have had a system longer are more willing to try out those tiny upgrades, those mid-gen refreshes. Additionally, I still personally don't think the PlayStation 6 is coming anytime soon. I think that is a very...
You know, I realized the whole mid-generation refresh is, and this is weird because Dreamcast Guy doesn't even realize how close to SEGA it is, because if you remember, before the Sega Saturn came out, there was the Sega CD and the Sega 32X. That stuff sold horribly. Yeah, people question why the Saturn exists. Then we all bought PlayStations and N64s instead.
Very long way off into the future. And so, I mean, the idea of the PlayStation 6 conceptually still seems like a distant pipe dream. I'm currently not waiting for it. I'm not expecting that reveal for another 4 years. So if I get 4 years of a PlayStation 5 Pro, to me, that's definitely money well spent. So here we go. We're living in an age of tremendous price inflation. And while the PlayStation 4 Pro launched at $400, the same price of a PS4 at launch, there's no telling how much a PlayStation 5 Pro might cost. As you recall, it's $450 for the digital version, $500 for a disc version of just a standard PlayStation 5, so it's likely that even at base minimum...
Oh yeah, the one where the disc has to connect. You have to get the disc to connect to the internet. Oh, how tone deaf can this company be?
They're going to probably ask for more than $500 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, there have been some talks that it may cost as much as $600. To me, that would be the deal breaker for a lot of casual consumers, especially the upgrade cost. I do think a lot of the people buying a PlayStation 5 Pro are probably going to be trading in their PlayStation...
1 billion, quadrillion, or fifillion, or million yen.
PlayStation 5 at the same time, getting credit for that next upgrade, especially because, honestly, I love the fact that the PlayStation, has so many cloud saves. It's super easy to swap from one system to the next. It's a very seamless process. So the idea of trading my PlayStation 5 and getting a Pro, that definitely seems worth it. But if it costs $600 or somehow even like $700, yeah, that's going to hurt its day one sales tremendously. Now, here's the last point he makes. Finally, the current PS5 generation has been a bit...
But you just said... You just said it's an option to upgrade it because I won't do numbers, and that's totally fine for Sony.
Coming up again and again and again, the idea of GTA 6. If Grand Theft Auto 6 looks incredibly better, way smoother, way cleaner on the PlayStation 5 Pro, that is going to be a system seller. That may sound ridiculous, but there has been a bunch of polling that typically gamers, if their favorite game is on a particular console or looks better in a particular way, they'll buy that hardware. A lot of people bought the Nintendo...
Aha! So this was the console war. Playing favoritism.
Switch just for Zelda. A lot of people bought the PlayStation 4 just for God of War freaking 2018. Like,
it's because Nintendo has like a stranglehold on their IPs. Like, there's no other choice besides piracy to play Nintendo game. You do realize that, right? You can't be that. Can't be that stupid, can you?
that is a huge, huge deal. The PlayStation 5 Pro may end up being successful just if it manages to effectively maximize GTA 6. Now, let me end off by looking at one of my own tweets, something I did as a joke. These are my off-the-wall gaming predictions for 2024, and I did actually guess that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to come out, and it's not going to really sell that well because the PS5 already looks great. And I still stand by this. I think the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be a slow burn. I think it's going to be one of those things that people pick up. You're going to see it in stores. You're going to hear discussion about the improvements of particular games on that hardware. But I just don't think it's going to be the mainstream popular main console the way that the PS5 is. The PS5 is just dominating.
Man, do you remember when people were like out in the freezing cold waiting for PS3, and like people bought Xbox 360s instead just to PS3 version of Devil May Cry 4 was bad. Why do I have to install the entire game on the hard drive when Xbox 360 I just put the disc in? Ooh. Took hours.
It is selling crazy, crazy, crazy amounts back to back to back. And the Pro, obviously, it's never going to match that intensity, that hype, that fervor. But it's not really trying to. I think this...
Not with scalpers. They're going to scalp it for all it's worth.
This guy's sentiment completely nails it, which is the concept that instead of the PlayStation 5 Pro attempting to replace the standard PS5, it is a supplemental system. It is something that people who want to get that nice little extra boost can enjoy, but it's going to be a tiny side piece of hardware, not the big caboodle. But what...
Or just to upgrade your computer.
What do you guys think about the PlayStation 5 Pro? Now, my serious question for the comments here is, would you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro if for some reason it costs $600? I may do a follow-up video on this, read in the comments, but seriously, down in the comments, tell me, would you buy a PS5 Pro for $600 if it comes out this year? Why or why not? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and keep dreaming. I don't look that bad, right? This is okay. Look at that. That's fine, right? That's totally fine. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck. And keep dreaming. I don't look that bad, right? This is okay. Look at that. That's fine, right? That's totally fine. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Dude has 238k subscribers and his video only got 33k views. Okay. What's with that? Oh, what's with that dislike bar? Only about 2,000 people put in their 2 cents. Oh! Yeah, Black Belt is good as life. Melt. Oh no. That guy looks like he's about to jizz his pants. Oh my Um, save that for myself later. it's it's over. What's wrong with his face? Oh no. Oh no. Naughty Dog has canceled The Last of Us on multiplayer. Cope and Sneed, my boy. Okay.
I did it. I beat Final Fantasy 16, and I have some thoughts. Let's discuss. What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, and this is going to be a brutally honest review for the game itself, discussing the story, the characters, the combat, and a lot of the strange controversy around this project. Now, first and foremost, this is going to be completely spoiler-free. I'm going to show you some boss fights from sort of later portions of the game, but nothing in actual context that will ruin any of the big surprises, because...
How much you want to bet he doesn't mention any of Square Enix bowing to ESG?
The story of this is pretty dang fantastic. Let's talk about this, though. Let's actually try and dive deep. Keep in mind, I am a very retro fan of Final Fantasy. I grew up with this franchise. I watched it go from turn-based combat to MMORPGs to weird mixed hybrids of cool different genres, action-focused, more classic, grindy focus, and...
So you started playing with Final Fantasy X. He means 10. Because that was the last turn. That was the last turn-based one.
As a person that did play this back on the PlayStation 1 and the Super Nintendo and stuff, I always loved...
Then why do you call yourself Dreamcast Guy?
the character focus and the aesthetic of Final Fantasy. Even the spin-offs, weird stuff like Final Fantasy Explorers or Final Fantasy Realm Reborn, Final Fantasy Tactics. So the biggest controversy I keep seeing pop up is people saying this...
Ooh, just gotta say Tactics and not mention it as one of the greatest? Like one that they should really bring back? That's kind of sus. I need to shave tonight.
Isn't really Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 16 is not my Final Fantasy. And I have to say, as a person that really was there from pretty much the start, this sent...
It's Devil May Cry. It's literally Devil May Cry because someone who worked on Devil May Cry worked on this. And look at this. Does this user interface look like an RPG to you? This looks like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and X-Blade. My throat is so sore from yelling at DSP. I'm so sorry.
Is very confusing to me. Final Fantasy 16, deep in its DNA, this is, of course, the newest FF game. It's got chocobos, it's got Moogles, the costumes, the music. It is definitely, down to its very vibe, it is Final Fantasy. And that's kind of what I love the most about this, is that Final Fantasy 16, while I was exploring it, it reminded me of how I would imagine Final Fantasy when I was a kid. Obviously, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, they had to have very primitive graphics, stuff that left a lot of...
What?
room for the imagination to fill in the gaps. And I appreciated that. I mean, my favorite game of all time is the original Final Fantasy VII. I still replay it every single year. Feeding the weapons, getting the super skills, getting the best material like Knights of the Round. But when you're playing that, there is definitely your own thoughts.
I never got Knights of the Round. Like, motherfucker. Who's sending me shit? I'll get back to you, Pokemon Company. Can't believe I have to even say that.
Own brain power that's being projected onto it. Final Fantasy XVI, to me, feels like the fulfillment of the dream of Final Fantasy. It is that
Whole point of Final Fantasy is that it's the Japanese take on Dungeons and Dragons, because each Final Fantasy is basically an entirely different Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Like, there's nothing there's nothing more simple than that.
a game that has blistering combat, that does have crazy epic moments and 5 staged boss fights and really cool.
You mean cinematic moments, because games are trying to become movies more and more every day.
Tiny peaceful encounters in the countryside. Let me start off by talking about the combat though, because I really do appreciate that this game gets deeper and deeper the farther into it you go. I've played about 55 hours now of Final Fantasy XVI, and a lot of that was spent, of course, on the main story itself. It takes about 40 hours.
MEVI provides innovation in manufacturing. All production is managed by AI with minimum
Itself to actually just finish the main campaign, but that's kind of where the game sort of begins if you're a completionist like I am. So when you're playing this, at the start, you just have your fire magic. You got like a phoenix uppercut, you've got the ability to do some little teleportations, but during each chapter of this, you keep absorbing extra elemental types. Summons in this game are called the icons, and as you begin to soak up Garuda and Titan and Bahamut, you grow these extra layers of character.
Seriously. Dude, all of these voices run through my head. Finding my side in a curtain of red frustration. It's getting bigger. Bang, bang, bang. Pull my devil trigger. Like, seriously. It's combo. Okay. How is that a most replayed?
Final Fantasy XVI, and a lot of that was spent, of course, on the main story itself. It takes about 40 hours itself to actually just finish the main campaign, but that's kind of when the game sort of begins if you're a completionist like I am. So when you're playing this, at the start, you just have your fire magic. You got like a phoenix uppercut, you've got the ability to do some little teleportations, but during each chapter of this, you keep absorbing.
That's what completionist... Okay. That kind of thing worked for like Oblivion, because because they just wanted you to keep playing. They just wanted you to keep playing the game, even after all the quests were done. And the only thing you had left are like endless side quests. Because I played Oblivion like from beginning to end twice. Like, I did everything twice. And I still had more fun playing the main campaign instead of the side quests. That's like, there's a reason why Final Fantasy VII is really good at the end, because like you feel like you've accomplished almost the impossible with like even Final Fantasy VI. Like, you feel like you've accomplished the impossible, literally upsetting a person who's ascended to a godlike being, and he's just like, I hate you guys, I'm going away forever. Like, that's literally how it ends. Like, Kefka is literally the greatest villain ever, and yet he still just says, I'm peace, bitches, I'm out.
Extra elemental types. Summons in this game are called the icons, and as you begin to soak up Garuda and Titan and Bahamut, you grow these extra layers of character depth. What's so incredibly fun is that each of these icons has a different style of combat, some of them more offensive or defensive, some of them better about jumping around the battlefield or grabbing people to you, staggering foes, and there's also the ability to unlock additional talents. By going into the ability skill tree, you can choose to make it so you have more long-range abilities, more abilities to just zap people yourself. And I think it's really cool that this game just gets more and more complicated, but at a very good pace. It felt like every 4 hours I'd unlock a new piece of the skill tree, I'd get a new icon, I'd get that next big advancement.
I think something's wrong with my horse.
That was weird.
My horse is normal. Ah!
It's the...
Oh, it was still at 1.5 speed.
I did it. Some of them more offensive or defensive, some of them better about jumping around the battlefield or grabbing people to you, staggering foes, and there's also the ability to unlock additional talents. By going into the ability skill tree, you can choose to make it so you have more long-range abilities, more abilities to just zap people yourself. And I think it's really cool that this game just gets more and more complicated, but at a very good pace. It felt like every 4 hours I'd unlock a new piece of the skill tree, I'd get a new icon, I'd get that next big advancement in Clive as a character, and in combat, that's neat. I also really freaking loved that they just keep piling up the enemies more and more as you start to clash against entire armies or big huge dragons and stuff like that. It's really cool that this game constantly feels more epic as you get more practiced at it. I have to say, the combat all around to me is a 10 out of 10. I never got bored of it. I always actually would jump into every single skirmish with a big old smile on my face. But I will say, I understand the people that are a little bit scared of it. I certainly see some of the most like classic Final Fantasy fans intimidated because, I mean, this is a big departure. Even if you played Final Fantasy 15, which did have more action-focused combat, you could still hold a single button to dodge. You could still hold a single button to dish out attacks. You could still pause time to throw potions. Final Fantasy XVI requires you do perfect dodges. It really requires that you actually pay attention to the different phases of boss fight to see the different moves they're dishing out. To me, that's glorious, but I understand why really retro fans like myself might sometimes be a little bit, well, off-put by that. Now, I want to talk about the story for a bit in a completely spoiler-free fashion. I loved the plot in this game. The writing is absolutely top freaking notch. It feels so much like Final Fantasy Tactics. If you never played Tactics, it is a deep political intrigue game filled with a million perfect quotes. Characters constantly trying to screw each other over, or do a power play, or invade a rival nation to try and get a little ounce of more power. Seeing that incredibly bleak universe, that incredibly foreboding onslaught of impossible missions being carried over in a vibe, at least, to Final Fantasy XVI, this feels like classic Final Fantasy. That like foreboding, crazy epic, you are screwed even if you win. They brought that back, and I have to say, I think that is incredibly cool. But I have noticed a particular critique of this pop up a lot, which is that the story in a lot of Final Fantasies is based on the party itself. You know, if you're going into a dungeon or trying to sit around a dinner table, the characters conversing is a lot of times how we get the most important plot, right? Think of things like the scenes in Gold Saucer in Final Fantasy VII, or times in Final Fantasy VIII when you're reconvening to talk to Headmaster Cid at the Balam Garden. Each of the games always managed to really have that, like, that friends winning together tone, whereas Final Fantasy XVI is heavily focused purely on Clive, for better and for worse. If you like Clive, which it does seem like 99% of people do, he is a great projection of ourselves. He is the person that's trying to figure out how to survive, the person that's trying to figure out how to get revenge, how to get power, how to actually make it out of the situation with a bit of sanity and hope intact. That to me is incredibly cool, but the best side character, and the person that in my opinion makes this game instantly 3 times better, is this guy, Sidolphus. Sid is amazing. I can't even get into all the spoilers I want to talk about him, but he is just a character that is so well acted. He's so charming. He's so witty. He is a soldier that's willing to bash back the Empire. And on top of that, I do want to mention, there's this cool underlying trend of magic having a cost throughout Final Fantasy XVI. People that use a bunch of magic actually slowly turn to stone, and whether it is the giant mother crystals or the little tiny gems that random civilians are using to start fires or heal wounds. I like the idea that magic has a universal cost. It's not
Talk about the racism now.
not just about mana, it's not just about cooldowns. I like that there is a plot-relevant cost that we see taking place, and Cid brings that up. Cid brings that real costly humanity because he is that jaded older gentleman, the person that's been...
I feel like this is a plot from a book I've read. I swear this is from...
in this war for so long, who's saved so many people, who's killed so many people. He is such a great side character for Clive to deal with. The way that they grapple and talk about ideas and stuff. The story in this game is so purely Final Fantasy that even when it comes to the boardroom meetings and stuff, watching these kingdoms have diplomatic peace treaties and stuff, I love the story of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you'd probably like the story of Final Fantasy 13 as well.
16, at least the main plot. Now, let's talk a bit about what I did not love in this game. There's only 2 aspects of this that I'm just not super thrilled about. Part of it does come down to the fact that, honestly, the side quests feel like Final Fantasy XIV, the MMORPG. Now, in a lot of MMOs, because I do like playing online games, they are fun, they're good, busy work with good rewards, but they're not exactly exciting, if you catch my drift. Most of the side quests I've done in this are like slaying random wolves. There's a cool bounty board where you usually go and find a particularly powerful random enemy and kill them for a bonus reward. Sometimes you do get some quests where you like, save some chocobos from some bandits and now you're able to ride a chocobo, but for the most part, the side content, it really feels like an afterthought. It really feels like they made the entire game and they went, oh, we should just put in some extra little bits and bobs to populate the world. A lot of this stuff, it feels so irrelevant that I pretty much skipped a lot of it. I'm going to go back and do a lot of it now because the game is done and I want to actually...
So you literally liked the narrative. over like I'm partially falling asleep from this, but can you just show the part where it turns into Ashura's Wrath?
Really grind stuff out, but as actual content, it's not as nearly engaging as the epic main tale is. Now, the other minor problem I have is that the frame rate is still so incredibly inconsistent. I'm recording this a week after launch at this point, and we've had no real discussions about a performance patch. I'm playing this in the performance mode, which is supposed to be 60 frames a second. There's a lot of frame stuttering. I think it's really cool that this game seems so heavily based on dungeons. You get a chance to explore the countryside and then go into like fallen kingdoms and different cool ruins and stuff like that. But a lot of these places, it feels like it's trying to compensate for the lack of...
There's that Crystal Pringles engine.
of loading screens by populating areas late, and it causes frame rate drops. I don't know. Something about the frame rate being so wonky is a bit strange because the game looks great. It runs great at times. So when it looks bad, it looks very bad.
Should I mention that Live Alive came out, a remake of it, and that game's still amazing, and this is like trying to push the hardware so hard that shit's breaking. It's trying to break shit. Like, are you trying to make up people's eyes like completely burst from graphical input?
Overall, as a classic Final Fantasy fan, I am so overwhelmingly pleased with this.
No,
this
not.
Reminds me of classic Final Fantasy so much. This reminds me of like those...
What? What? So somebody get this man the Pixel Remaster Collection.
Those big epic emerald weapon fights and stuff like Final Fantasy VII. This reminds me of Final Fantasy X when you're trying to take on the different summons themselves. This feels like, honestly, this feels like the future of Final Fantasy. So I understand that some people are not completely on board with it, but as a person that's watched the evolution of the saga, this feels like a brilliant next step. I guess we're going to see. I have a feeling that we're going to get a turn-based version of this. I kind of get an idea that we might see some sort of 16-bit version remake of this game at some point. There's like sprites and stuff in this game that look so good. The music is so good. I would not be shocked if they released a Nintendo Switch version of this game that's all 16-bit. And to be honest, the story is so great, I would play through all of this again as a turn-based RPG in a millisecond, and I'm sure I'd love it even freaking more.
No, you
It's
wouldn't.
difficult to put a score on a game like this because it is just so huge in scope, but I'm going to try my best. We've heard some good and some bad. Let's go over to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Final Fantasy XVI a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. I do want to quickly say, I played this without a strategy guide. I played most of it before the game came out, and now I finished it after my trip. Something about going into a Final Fantasy game completely blind is just the greatest pleasure in my entire life. I love fumbling around and trying to figure stuff out because, man, is this game good. Thanks for watching this video, and I'm putting it out a week after launch. Hopefully people actually watch it. I have no idea. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Okay. Okay. Oh no, what did Endymion put up? Like, seriously, this guy looks like he's about to...
Yeah, you man, yeah. I want me chicken pat pat.
Hey, Paul. What's up?
Don't stop me, don't stop me.
As Melanie Mac would say, Pfizer faggot.
Oh, big pharma.
Microsoft is currently completely freaking out because it appears as if somebody has managed to leak the future plans of Xbox, and it sounds like Game Pass is about to die. At least the current form of Xbox Game Pass is getting a rebrand, and probably stuff is going to change for sure. But let's take a look at the leaks and talk about the impact that this lack of Xbox focus is going to have on the industry. Hi, I'm Dreamcast Guy. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So here is what has the internet completely going ballistic right now. Now, I did manage to find a bunch of tweets before they got deleted. This was accidentally posted by GameStop. Come to our stores for Xbox Demo Day, which is coming up here on Monday, and it says you can check out the newest Xbox games and explore the benefits of Microsoft Game Pass. Now, anybody who knows anything knows that, of course, the name of it is Xbox Game Pass. Even when you're playing it on PC or playing it on your phone, it's still called Xbox Game Pass.
Probably just a typo. Like, typos happen. Because I stopped getting Game Pass because it's not worth it, really. I'm finding games for like $7 or $8 right now.
For PC or for cloud. This is the first time we're seeing Microsoft Game Pass. So these three words have people completely freaking out because it definitely conveys the...
Of course he got it from Wario64. Could have been worse. Could have got it from Nebellion. Thank God he's gone.
End of the current Xbox brand. The fact that it's very obvious that they want to change it from, Xbox Games to maybe Xbox Game Studios instead of Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Game Pass.
It already is called. It's called Microsoft Game Studios. Toileted. Damn, I can't.
Now, this tweet got deleted because everybody clearly was not supposed to talk about Microsoft Game Pass. And people are understandably kind of... I think people are...
Used Narcos to console. Oh, how much cocaine do you think people at PlayStation are doing?
Upset. Now, I do want to briefly talk about the fact that some Xbox fanboys are going completely insane. People talking about how they haven't slept in days. I've seen...
No, they weren't! That's fake. You can't be serious. Are you... Wait, That can't be the same guy. Is that the same guy? From one of Alex's streams? I think this is a guy from one of Alex's streams.
Pictures and videos of people smashing their Xboxes or claiming they're going to leave the internet. I think some of this
All fake, of course.
stuff is obviously way too far, but I understand the frustration because
Holy fuck, Kotaku, you piece of shit.
I mean, think about it. When you buy a console, whether it is the Xbox or the PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch, you're betting on the future. You're basically saying, oh, this is going to be the spot where I game for the next 4, 5, or 10 years, you know? And so you're kind of hoping, okay, is Halo going to be great? Is Hellblade going to be awesome? Or on the other side of the fence, is Zelda going to be good? Or God of War Ragnarok thankfully turned out to be good. I understand people's frustrations because if you spend $500 on your system and it turns out that they just give up on it, if it just gets cooked, that's understandably going to piss you off. But I think it's interesting looking at a lot of the takes from the most diehard professional Xbox YouTubers. This is Destin Legary, who's a host of one of the biggest Xbox podcasts and does a lot of...
Oh, Destin. I'm Destin and this is hard news. How come he hasn't come back on Side Scrollers? I wonder why. Dude should practically be a regular at some point.
video content on YouTube talking about the nature of...
Destin is following this idiot? I think I misjudged your character.
Xbox and Microsoft. He did a lot of coverage of the FTC investigations and stuff, and he basically said, I think they're going to call it Xbox Everywhere. This is going to be the new slogan. I don't think the consoles are going to die. I mean, he's looked at the FTC leaks. Clearly, they have aspirations to make more streaming systems and maybe another Xbox in the distant future, but this is the end of the console war. There's only going to be PlayStation. Nintendo has their own separate audience. They have definitely a very diehard, very profitable audience, but the idea of Xbox versus PlayStation has come to an end. Now, some people are very mad.
Imagine how much money Nintendo would make if they put their older stuff, like stuff from the GameCube era on PC. Oh, we are going to put the Capcom game PN03 on Steam. Like it says, let's publisher Nintendo. Wait, did Capcom publish that themselves? I don't remember.
About the Xbox people that are understanding of this. Come on.
Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness was at Silicon Knights, but I'm pretty sure the rights to it are just up in the air. So it's up to the licensor and publisher.
Man, you need some Xbox loyalty. I keep seeing this term specifically. Xbox.
Save money, spend time. Kid Quest _DLC. No, brand loyalty is bad. You should never be loyal to anything, especially brands.
loyalty. That even though it turns out that Phil Spencer lied, a lot of Phil Spencer's talks over the course of this last 6 years, he's been talking a lot about the idea of making it the best place to play. Xbox will have the best exclusives, the coolest games. Now it turns out they're going to have no exclusives, and even if they are getting good games, you can play them pretty much anywhere. People seem to be a bit upset about this, and the typical response I've seen is this: just play games anywhere you can. I'd play Skyrim on a fridge if I could. I keep looking at a lot of these Destin tweets because not only is he a professional commentator on this, but he is a guy who's probably put in hundreds of thousands of hours on the Xbox personally. So his take, watching him pretty much abandon the Xbox, to me,
He doesn't know Destin used to be part of side-scrollers. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know he worked for Stuttering Craig. Bro, he played more arcade SNES and he played everything, you stupid motherfucker. Xbox was his platform. Bro, shut up.
it's a fascinating move that Xbox pivots, and a lot of fans are basically going, well, we have to keep up. If that's where the Xbox games are going, that's where we're going to go. I feel like Xbox has been headed this way for a long time. A year or so ago, we talked about Game Pass on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Full-priced releases on other platforms is good for customers and Xbox's bottom line. Xbox everywhere.
Show me the money. Money gun.
Doesn't seem that bad to me. Now, this is the part of it that I feel like some people are kind of overlooking, which is the fact that Xbox is not as profitable as a lot of us kind of think about. You know, like, even though obviously Microsoft...
The console or the company in general? Which is it, Dreamcast guy?
is huge. Microsoft has literally trillions of dollars, but Microsoft, when it comes to Xbox, is an itty-bitty piece of the pie. When we actually look at sales and profitability of different consoles, it's clear that not only is Sony way in the lead of just dollars earned, but what's interesting to me is the fact that Microsoft has never really been making that much in general off the Xbox. Even during their most profitable periods of the Xbox 360 and stuff, it's obvious that the idea of Xbox has always been just to boost the value of Microsoft. Their shareholders just care about having a physical box in your house. It makes their company more valuable. The fact that they have something they can sell at Best Buy.
The thing that tickled, this was on the Xbox documentary. The thing that tickled Bill Gates' fancy was the fact of how fast this prototype Xbox started up. Like, he was like, turn it on again. Turn it off and turn it back on. I want to see that again. And he was like, starts up so fast. Like my PC, it takes a while to start up. It's like a motorboat. Just you have to rev it up a little to get everything going. Or a motorcycle, whichever it is.
But what's interesting to me is that this pivot of Microsoft Game Pass, I think this is being done by the shareholders. I don't think that Phil Spencer wants to do this. The game developers, I mean, a lot of these people, it sounds like, aren't really super on board with it. Apparently, according to a lot of the leaks and stuff, there has been an internal struggle between people that are at Xbox and want to be Xbox exclusive, whereas there's the studios that were bought by Xbox and now are being forced to be Xbox exclusive. There have been some talks that certain people at Bethesda...
No. A lot of the... Like, they're going day and date on PC. What... The only Xbox exclusive I have is the arcade versions of Killer Instinct 1 and 2. Like, those are not on PC yet. And that was like, what, 10 years ago?
were not exactly pleased when they were told that their games were going to be played by less people. That even if they end up making the biggest, craziest version of Elder Scrolls 6, saying, hey, it's only going to exist on the worst-selling console, and to PC gamers, a lot of people just obviously...
Excuse me. This is... Alright.
weren't super pleased by that. A lot of experts, though, are kind of chiming in on this and saying, hey, this will make more money. This will generate a ton of cash. But is that really the goal? This is fascinating to me because as a person who's owned every Xbox console and played all the best exclusives on every Xbox console, it's weird to see them just come out and say, we give up. We failed. We just want to make as much cash as possible. I don't think there's going to be another
Yeah, you want them to say that. That's what everyone's hoping, that
Xbox Video expects it. Xbox is the worst. PlayStation is the best.
Battle of the plastic boxes.
Xbox. I really think there may be some revisions of the Xbox Series X and S. I think there may be something else for the rest of this console generation, but personally, I do think that they're going to just become the next Sega. They're just going to sell their games, no matter how big or how glorious or how multiplayer focused, to anybody, because it's free.
Well, he actually said it. Okay.
Profit. It's an odd spot to be in, but what do you guys think about this? Are you at all completely blown away by this pivot? Does this seem to make logical sense? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and please, if you could, keep dreaming. And like the video, and subscribe. Did I say that? Xbox. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Kick off your taxes for a chance to win $1 million. The Turbo...
Sony has just rolled out a surprise update for the PlayStation 5 that's going to make the user experience for multiplayer a lot better, including making screen sharing more fluid, fixing a lot of the audio issues of the controller itself, and generally making it easier to talk and play with friends. But let's take a look specifically at what is being improved on the PlayStation 5. Hi, I'm Dreamcast Guy. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So this is an interesting change because I think it's showing the fact that the PlayStation 5 is in a very good spot. Over the course of the last year and a half or 2 years of the PS5, we've really seen Sony trying to fix the last of the bad bugs. There was that annoying issue with the console just freezing, some stuff with the desktop wasn't working the best, and obviously the biggest problem of the PlayStation 5 was the sleep freezing glitch, where if you put your console in rest mode, sometimes a game would straight up crash or the console would just shut itself off. So all of that has been fixed, but this is one that personally I'm very happy about. They're fixing the DualSense controller's audio issues. So if you haven't played a PlayStation 5,
marketing gobbledygook.
obviously there is a very, very good controller speaker on it. You can see I'm actually playing my PS5 for a review right now, and you know, this thing...
Why do you need a speaker on your controller? Why do you need a speaker on it?
Is pretty good for, like, if you're playing a game, they'll have like controllers, people talking to you, audio notes, sort of visual cues. I've been playing a lot of Overcooked with one of my friends, and it's cool that the timers of, hey, your dish is about to catch on fire, that comes out of this very good controller speaker, but it's been less than satisfactory when it comes to voice chat. So they've also basically fixed noise cancellation, huge W, and screen share interactions have been completely updated to be much more funny. Okay, so all the replies, people are saying, hey, huge update, now give us PlayStation themes. This is the final thing that honestly...
I'm done with you.
This is the best demo I have ever played in my entire life. It is just so full of cool combat and crazy bosses and new game mechanics to show why Rebirth is better than Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is just a gloriously good time, and this demo took me an hour and a half to finish, which is completely insane to consider because this is a chunk of the final game that they're just serving to us on a silver platter. But let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Dreamcast Guy, and honestly, I'm a complete Final Fantasy fanatic. I beat the games over and over again, I get platinum trophies, I really enjoy this universe, but specifically, FF7 is my favorite game of all time. I just think it's downright perfect, and so I've been incredibly curious about this Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy to see how they handle particular events, how they change and update a classic story for modern audiences, and this demo definitely proves to me why these games are going to keep getting bigger and better. So this is entirely the Nibelheim flashback. In the original FF7, after escaping Midgar, the characters get...
Why is it letting you control Sephiroth? Like, that was the whole point of Final Fantasy VII, that you have no control over this man. Like, even in flashbacks of where he's one of the characters in your party.
Get a chance to catch their breath and do an extended flashback to talk about the glory days of Sephiroth and Cloud, back when they were in Soldier and battling basically against monsters and doing missions for Shinra. Now this...
Which we find out is fake later on in the original game.
Demo is really, really big. For a lot of the gameplay, you're going to see that I decided to fight as Sephiroth because to me, it's incredibly freaking cool to actually be playing as Sephiroth. But let's start off there. Let's actually talk about the...
Is he saying Sephiroth? Sephiroth!
combat and what makes it feel, well, quite a bit different than the original game that we got with FF7 Remake 4 years ago. So this game is incredibly good at trying to basically keep you locked into the action. Of course, old school Final Fantasy was turn-based, and they tried to tread that line of making it so this is still tactical, it's still about magical weaknesses and last-minute limit breaks and stuff, but at the same time, it does feel quicker. You can change combat stances, you can switch characters, you can knock enemies over and try and hit their weak points for extra triple damage and stuff, but this feels a bit more quick. Just in general, it feels like...
Oh god, it looks like the hallway. It looks like the hallway. Like, hold up. Hold the fuck up. Yeah, cutscene.
Sephiroth, because to me, it's to fight as Sephiroth, because to me, it's incredibly freaking cool to actually be playing as Sephiroth. But let's start off there. Let's start off there. Let's actually talk about the combat and what makes it feel, well, quite a bit different.
Oh! Sephiroth! I have to know, where is he from? What part of the country do you enunciate se as si?
Different than the original game that we got with FF7 Remake 4 years ago. So this game is incredibly good at trying to basically keep you locked into sped up dodges, they sped up parries, and now specifically they've added in this completely new mechanic called synergy attacks, where two people in your party, if you have control of both of them, can do a special strike together. Now, of course, in this I only have access to Sephiroth and Cloud, but in the trailers they've shown special attacks between Barret and Kate Sith and all sorts of different cool characters. So it's interesting to watch how these boss fights actually require you to do it. The demo ends with a very big, very dramatic fight against a Materia Guardian, and this dude is definitely tough. I mean, you can see that it's basically Guard Spider from FF7 Remake, but even more sturdy. And while you're doing these synergy attacks...
What? A what guard? A Materia guard? One second. Okay. Let's see here. Buster. Boswell. Chekhov. Guard Scorpion. Yes. Genova Life. Genova Death. It says Materia Keeper is the name of the creature. uses Trine enemy skill. Absorbs fire. Invulnerable to gravity. So they changed it from Materia Keeper to Materia Guardian.
While you're switching between the two characters to free them from enemy claws or try and hit a big special strike. I feel like all of this feels very refined. I love the combat in FF7 Remake, but this definitely feels even more accessible. On the topic of general gameplay though, and not just combats, they've added in a lot more vertical exploration. It looks like we're going to be able to climb surfaces and not just ladders. You can scale up walls, hop over ledges, you can actually explore the ecosystem and environment because they've straight up said this is going to be open world. It's going to have big chunks of the map.
Don't worry, we marked the climbable parts with safety, with yellow safety paint.
They've already showed the world map, and it's very, very big. You're going to get a chance to hop on stuff or climb things. Each of the characters will have different modes of traversal, so some of them will have grapple hooks and all sorts of extra abilities to get on top of or under stuff. This demo definitely displayed that to a degree. It's kind of cool to be walking around the mountains of Nibelheim, Mount Nibel, and actually see how this area is just so sucked dry by the Mako reactor. Now, I want to talk about the story, and I want to talk about, just in general, how good this freaking looks. Obviously, the very best part of Final Fantasy VII, the original and the remake, is just the incredibly cool plot. The idea of these freedom fighters battling to try and save the planet from Sephiroth and evil corporations. And it's really cool to see how they're...
It's just funny to hear him say Sephiroth. Oh, it's Sephiroth! Shout out to Josh. Oh no, it's Alex. Alex is a editor for the stream channel.
reimagining that. A lot of these scenes of Sephiroth slowly losing his mind. Of course, the famous scenes of the burning of Nibelheim, which is still just incredibly, breathtaking to behold. But beyond that, I think the voice acting, the extra lines of dialogue, they've taken the very best, most memorable moments from the original game and just made them...
Doesn't look like it's engulfed in flames. Looks like some stuff caught fire and it's already burnt. Like, did you put in the... What's the last video that he had? I swear it was the last video where he showed the... There's just something about a matte painting and your character model just walking on it that conveys the message better.
Even better. They're literally improving my favorite game of all time, which just feels insane to say. Additionally, they did release these Final Fantasy VII books. They actually reference this stuff in the demo.
I wouldn't say removing Sid's cigarettes is an improvement. In fact, it's destroying his character. In fact... Wrong one. really have to go? All right. We made it good. The show sucked. What? No. Huh? What are you talking about then? What? When did they put Vanilla Devil May Cry 4 on its Steam? No. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Sid Highwind smokes. Cut actively damages the character of Sid Highwind. Sid is a destructive and volatile man who is rough around the edges. He has character flaws, like his abusive attitude towards Shara, and is a lovable, boorish aeronautics engineer with a penchant for violence and stabbing scrubs with a long, pointy stick. Yeah, my favorite limit break of his, Dynamite. Lights it with his cigarette. Defining characteristic of Sid was his nicotine habit. After battles, he would take long drags from his cigarettes and would even incorporate his smokes into his combat moves. Yeah, like how he lights dynamite with it. I don't know why this... It had to be the panties. It had to be the panties that, like, restricted my search. It had to be.
You actually see the characters and stuff from the book, which to me is kind of cool as a Final Fantasy superfan.
So they... Bro, they're adding too much shit. They're adding too much shit to a masterpiece. Oh. You know, Pro Jared was right. I hate that Square Enix knows how profitable it is to milk Final Fantasy VII. What time is it? Yeah, I think I'm just going to go until 10. I'm just going to go until 11 and then I'm out of here, but... You still here, Paul, or have you left? Wait, when did he leave? He was here for that? Shit.
Graphically, though, this is just jaw-dropping. Now, FF7 Remake was originally released on the PlayStation 4 and then ported...
More graphics! Our graphics are always... graphics are the best. Graphic qualities are always the best. Graphics are everything, huh? Yeah. Graphics are not everything. Oh, look at PS... Look, Dreamcast Guy! It's for PS4 and 5, too. Oh! It's even a turbo tunnel.
To the PlayStation 5 for the integrated version, but this is the first time we're seeing Final Fantasy VII made for the PlayStation 5, and they straight up said that this makes it a lot easier. Like, the console itself is graphically powerful, but with the power of the SSD, they can make stuff incredibly quick frame rate, load environments instantaneously, have so much on screen at once, and all of it just crystal clear. I know it's probably a little bit of just marketing speak, oh, the power of the PlayStation 5, but honestly, looking at it, the game is just glorious. This entire demo, all 90 minutes of it, my jaw was just on the floor. Overall, I gotta say that the entirety of this demo is exactly what it's trying to be. It's selling the game itself. It's partially a tutorial as to how the game itself is going to work. It's got a cool bonus where if you beat the demo, it carries over some of the items and progress to the main game. And beyond that, I think it's just a great demonstration as to how this game is going to be darker, bigger, and even more chaotic than FF7 Remake. I am definitely going to be playing Rebirth Day 1. If somebody at Square Enix sees this video, hey, send me a review code. I would love to do a deep dive on the game itself and platinum it before anybody else in the world. But what do you guys think about it? Are you excited about FF7 Rebirth? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. These have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts because honestly, I'm so blown away by it, but I want to know what you guys think of it. Tell me what you believe in the comments down below, and if you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I still can't believe Final Fantasy VII Remake was so good. The original game is just so perfect, and Rebirth is somehow upping the bar even more. Whatever the third game is going to be, it's going to just be beyond all comprehension. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
He gets 200 dislikes per video. Ups the bar of the original. I'm just getting more confused. My honest review of Helldivers 2.
Hyundai Tucson versus Mazda CX-5. Look what Tucson has, and what CX...
The latest PlayStation 5 exclusive is here, and it's Helldivers 2. It's a game that's got a lot of big bugs, it's got crazy combat, it's got some very cool multiplayer, but it also has some stuff that honestly kind of confuses me. But let's talk about that. What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, and this is my review of Helldivers 2 after playing 10 hours of the game itself. I woke up at 3 a.m., chugged some Red Bull, and busted a lot of bugs. So let's talk about what's good and what's bad. First,
you really shouldn't drink Red Bull. That shit had me tweaking for weeks.
First and foremost, what is Helldivers 2? This is a game where you're playing as a nameless soldier in deep space. This is a territory that's incredibly dangerous, and to be honest, your survival rate is pretty low. In fact, in your missions, you're going to die a lot. You're going to constantly...
Is he going to show... He's not going to show Starship Troopers footage, is he?
Get squished, blown up, killed by friendly fire, but that's also kind of the point. In a lot of my reviews, I like to break stuff down with the story and then the gameplay, but in this case, there isn't really a story. I have played the original Helldivers 9 years ago, in fact, and I really enjoyed it, but you know, the whole point of it is, hey, let's just kill some aliens for super democracy. And that's kind of the case here. Every time you kill these bugs, apparently it gives you jet fuel so you can fly to even deeper space, but after they mention this in the opening cutscene, it never comes back. The point of this game is just the fun of doing these missions again and again.
There you go. That's the plot. We need to kill the bugs to get our fuel. Go to it, Marine.
And again. So this game is very randomized. Every time you drop into one of these missions, the objectives are completely random. Sometimes you're doing stuff like refilling a missile launcher to try and blow up a bug nest, or sometimes just directly taking down a hive leader, fixing some sort of supply depot, or repairing a radar dish and stuff like that. But the real part of Helldivers 2 that I feel like gets exactly right is just the aiming, the shooting, and the guns themselves. It is incredibly addictive to just keep fighting these aliens over and over and over again, getting a headshot, watching them fall over dead as you land that critical hit, or helping your friends call down an airstrike to blow up a particularly nasty foe that's chasing you down. Now, I've mentioned this at the start, but you do die a lot. In every mission, for every person on your team, you get 5 revives. So I played a lot of this by myself, but I did play a lot of this with subscribers as well, and thank you to everybody who helped make this video. All my teammates were incredibly good, but in this game, you can get one shot. You can step on a landmine, you can get super punched. There's a lot of times where you're just going to get completely slaughtered, and this really isn't the kind of game that you grind in. There isn't really a standard leveling system. You can't get more health or more armor. It always comes down to your personal skill level, how much you are able to duck, to dodge, to avoid being completely crushed, or how much you can stay hidden in the shadows and straight up avoid combat sometimes. But when the stuff hits the fan, honestly, I really enjoy the shooting of Helldivers 2. It feels great. So it has this special armament system. Whenever you're in missions, you can hold down L1 and call in different special abilities. You put these as part of your loadout. You can do stuff like an orbital strike that blows up part of the map. You can call in special super weapons like a one-time use rocket launcher or a sniper rifle that's armor piercing to hit those enemies that actually take almost no damage on their faces. But what's extra cool about this is that everything that gets called in is shared. Your entire team is able to actually constantly help people out. You can do stuff like if you call in extra ammunition, it'll be airdropped and everybody can pick it up. Everybody can help each other out, which makes communication extra vital. One of my favorite things that I unlocked was a special backpack that I could have orbital dropped that when I wear, that makes it so that anytime my teammates touch me, they get full ammo, full health, and full stim packs. Now let's talk about stim packs. One of the systems in this that I don't particularly love. Now we're going to talk a lot about the gripes. This is a brutally honest review, but one part of this I don't particularly love is the injury system. It just doesn't really feel useful. A part of
Yeah, it looks like you're just... It looks like you've got regenerating health in this, like Call of Duty or something.
this game's plot is obviously that we are constantly dying. We are sent out here to just be meat fodder. They're pretty apparent that this is just practically war propaganda. We're sent out here to die. But when you get hit by these enemies, if you don't get one shot, a lot of times it'll just injure a particular limb. If you get your leg hurt, you can't sprint as fast. There is an exhaustion system, so you can straight up not be able to run away. If they hit your arm, it may break your arm and affect your aim. But as soon as you use a stim pack, it immediately cures your pain and thus removes these detriments. Now, here's my problem with that. This system just doesn't really make sense. Either A, you have a stim pack, which most of the time you do, and so therefore this mechanic
putting the Konami code in to get 30 lives.
is completely useless, or if you don't have a stim pack, that just makes it even more likely that you're going to die. To me, it's just not fun to be trying to defend a point and, you know, I'm calling in some reinforcements, or I'm standing on a hill and the airship is coming to pick me up.
Yeah, it's not fun to do it, like defend position things for, because like a King of the Hill in Halo, I never really liked that. And that was like what I scored the least in.
And suddenly I break my arm and I can't aim as well. To me, it just isn't a mechanic that feels that relevant and useful. It doesn't increase my immersion, and it definitely doesn't increase my fun. But while we're talking gripes, most of the mission structures in this are fun. I actually think that a lot of the objectives we accomplish are cool. And there's also this nice system where when you start playing it, you can choose to drop anywhere on the map you...
You just said that it was...
One, every map is like a big grid. You can choose to drop close to the enemy objective, which a lot of times is way more dangerous, or what I like to do is drop way outside the enemy's territory. So like in a swamp or something like that, creep up and then accomplish the objectives. That to me is cool, but some of the objectives, I'd say 92% are incredibly fun. Some of them though are way too tedious. Sometimes you have to go up to a screen and actually read instructions. And there were certainly times, literally, where I had to actually go back to the screen and look at it 2 or even 5 times. And in a game that's about run and gun action, about carnage, about really silly deaths and screaming out to your friends and laughing every time you get killed, it feels weird to be basically reading a detailed instruction manual in the middle of a firefight. I'm not saying that this needs to be simplified, but certain of these missions, I wish that the screen steps were like 2 steps instead of 3 steps or 4 steps. Going back to these screens and putting in button combinations over and over again, or trying to read what it's trying to get from you, it's just not exciting. It drags the gameplay to too slow of a pace. Now, in general, all the combat feels fantastic. Every gun I've used, from sniper rifles, heavy weapons, grenade launchers, or even just throwing straight up grenades to close nest holes, all of it feels great. The combat in this game feels like the perfect evolution of the original game. I played a lot of the original Helldivers, and it was a game that was fun, but obviously it was a top-down twin-stick shooter. The fact that those people managed to take the exact spirit and scale it up to a third-person shooter, to me, is incredibly impressive. This game is fun. But let's talk about how you're going to be unlocking stuff and the weird microtransactions, which are not bad. I'm just going to say right here, I don't think...
Aha! So there is a microtransaction thing.
The microtransactions are predatory. They confuse me because of how much they suck, to be honest. So at the very beginning of the game, you have pretty much nothing to your name. You don't have any gear, you don't have any equipment, you don't have any special attacks or orbital drops or even any special weapons. At the very start, it's just you and a rifle. But as you begin to do these missions, you get special unlock tokens. Now, there's 2 separate kinds of them. So when you go on these missions, you can scrounge for special research notes that let you unlock.
Aha. That looks like premium currency to me.
Different stuff back on the ship. These are how you get your special orbital strikes. You're essentially upgrading the cargo bay, the launcher, the stuff like that, and it makes it so that your ship is better at deploying auto turrets, or making it so that whenever you do drop bombs from space, they have a shorter cooldown. All this stuff is cool, and I think a lot of these specials...
Well, that's just stuff that usually happens in Call of Duty, like... Except Call of Duty, it's all premium currency. And it's a lot.
If anything, they're kind of overpowered, but in that way that feels fun. Dropping a very well-timed carpet bomb and watching it just completely wipe a boss off the map feels fantastic. But scrounging for these research notes, it definitely takes an understandable amount of time. This is one of those games that I feel like it rewards your patience. But the guns themselves, these are unlocked via victory points. By completing missions on any difficulty, the harder you go, the more victory points you unlock, and it's this tiered system. So at the start, you unlock stuff in like a very straight line. You get cosmetics, you get microtransaction currency for those cosmetics and the battle pass thing.
Aha.
And then, of course, you're able to just get new guns. Shotguns, sniper rifles, special laser beams and stuff like that. And as you progress, each of these unlocks is exciting, but there isn't a way to upgrade the guns yourself. Like, you can't actually just boost the attack power of the assault rifle directly. This is the kind of game that is more about getting good than it is about just filling up a number chart. You need to get good at dodging enemy blows, communicating with your teammates, figuring out when to engage and when to run away. Your skill is the actual thing that's progressing. Beyond just the idea of getting new outfits and having a new helmet or a cool logo and stuff like that, what's actually growing in your character is your ability to play them. But I don't really understand the cosmetic microtransactions. And I guess maybe this is a good thing, but they kind of just suck. During the course of doing these unlocks, getting new guns and unlocking new special abilities and stuff, I did get this microtransaction currency, but when I actually spent it, a lot of it just was dumb. Special taunts and dances, victory poses, and a lot of the outfits, I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm not really a cosmetic microtransaction guy.
Now, why would you put that in a game like this? Why? Does nobody remember what happened in Valorant? Like, that wasn't pay to win, but it was... But... Oh boy, I kind of want to search for the Angry Joe Valorant. No, turn it off! Turn it off! Turn those lights off! Oh, Joe.
What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're thinking? Is that fucking blue? Is that fucking blue? What is this? What is this shit? What do we get? What is this? Is that blue? Is that fucking blue? This is fucking blue. You're giving me a gun that's painted blue and you want to charge me $2. It's not even good DLC. Blue? You want to fucking charge me 1,200 credits for fucking blue? For fucking blue! Again! Are you fucking serious? A paint set, 1,800 atoms for fucking blue? You want me to spend $18 for fucking blue? What is this, Evolve? No! Bethesda, no! Is that fucking blue? Is that fucking blue and red with a bunny? How much you want for blue and fucking blue and red and with a bunny? You want $8? You want $8 for blue, red, and a bunny? You want $8 for blue, bunny, red? I swear to God, if I find fucking blue, what is this? Oh, I'm sorry, it's fucking shiny blue. Oh, well, fucking that's great now, isn't it? Oh, well, good for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, everything's so different, Joe. But, Joe, it's shiny blue. What is that, fucking blue? You want me to pay you, what, $15 for fucking shiny blue? Fucking shiny blue! Are you fucking serious? For shiny blue! Brother, you did this on purpose! You know you watched my video! You had all these different skins planned with all the different prints and different colors and accents and glowy bits and even animated gifs on guns, but no, the very next gun you put up there is fucking blue! Fucking blue! This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys, obviously. Alright. Yes, I am working on The Last of Us 2 review. I have something like 34 hours of streaming.
How did that not get a million views? How did it not get a million views? It's only got 500,000. And who's this dapper young gentleman using Dr. Cossack? Call of Duty Mobile rigged. That got 1 million views. That got 1 million views, but this one didn't? Oh boy. Just a sec. Okay. All right. Cast with Cecil, we hit $100,000. Nice. Pictures, angriest moments. Almost got 1 million views. Jeez. You could milk Angry Joe for everything he has. Right. Historino.
What the is my life?
I'm in the presence of an icon. This is Revlon Super Lustrous Lipstick. Glides right on.
Yes, I am working on The Last of Us 2 review. I have something like 34 hours of streaming footage and recorded footage to scan through. Got a lot of editing ahead of us.
Action guy. Obviously, I'm in my late 30s. I'm not sitting here caring about what my cape looks like. I'm staring at the bad guys. I'm worried about my next headshot. And
I'm gonna wait for an unhinged rant regarding this, because they're gonna do something. They got something planned.
I guess this to me is the number one aspect I'm the most confused about. This game is $40. In my opinion, it is completely worth the $40. It is incredibly freaking fun, but at the same time, what is the long-term appeal? Like, that's what I mean seriously, is that if this doesn't have a typical standard battle pass, there's no season roadmap and stuff like that, this is apparently supposed to be a live service project funded by Sony. So it's something that actually has, stuff that's going to be rolling out new missions. They've already announced that there's going to be mechs and stuff later on, assumedly new enemies, new races, new planets and stuff like that. But I guess my thought is like, okay, is there some other plan? Is there some other thing? I guess I kind of love this. I'm confused because they really don't shove the microtransactions down your face. I mean, the game is just all about having fun with your friends or playing it by yourself. I've played quite a bit by myself, and it's just good, wholesome, easy fun. It's cool that I can turn the difficulty up and get completely slaughtered. It's cool that I can practice a mission over and over again. There's not like any sort of death cost and stuff like that. I guess Helldivers 2 is just so good. I keep waiting for the bad to show up. There are certain mechanics I don't love, like some of the stim pack stuff. Sometimes calling down reinforcements feels incredibly slow.
Then you would... He played how many hours of this and still didn't realize that he was...
My friends list keeps breaking because this is an online game and the servers are currently buckling, but overall, this game is just so good, I'm kind of confused. I think it just shows how much we're beaten down by live service games. I keep expecting it to do something bad, but it's just a solid, tight experience. It's $40. It is on Steam. It is on PlayStation. If you're looking for something fun, I would recommend this, especially if you have friends to play with. I have a feeling this is eventually coming to PlayStation Plus, and I'm kind of excited even for that. It's going to be cool playing this for months or maybe even years, and then later on, whenever they put this on PlayStation Plus, it's going to be cool to see that injection of fresh, hyped players also jumping on board. I'm curious to see what this game becomes, but for me personally, I spent my own cash on this. I woke up at 3 a.m. to play it. It's definitely worth it to me. But what do you guys think about Helldivers 2? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. There is also apparently a super special edition that's $60 called like Super Citizen. Don't get that. Honestly, a lot of the microtransactions in this, all the cosmetics, who cares? Don't buy that. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
He looks like Wheeler from Captain Planet with that in this picture.
Don't stop me, don't stop me.
Yes. Then Alex Jones had to come in and ask the little girl, "Little lady, how did you, what did you, oh boy! Pathetic fraud!" I hate Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League.
From the badly balanced boss. This game is honestly one of the worst things I've ever played in my life. From the badly balanced boss fights to the cringy cutscenes to the incredibly basic gameplay itself, it is a dumpster fire. It is just such an incomplete catastrophe. I'm shocked they decided to release it. I've been playing Suicide...
Now the real question is, does he mention the company that has... Does he mention that company that wrote the game?
Squad to kill the Justice League. I just sat down and put about 6 hours straight into it, and I'm about...
I'll bet you he does. Of course. I bet you he's not going to mention the baby thing. The baby Da baby.
Halfway through the main story, I've done some side quests, and to be honest, I'm ready to delete it off my PlayStation 5. It's just so bad, I can't imagine playing another second of it, but let's pick that apart. Hi, I'm Dreamcast Guy. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So let me try and discuss this as uncritically as possible. I spent my own money to do this video, so I'm kind of just trying to go into this unbiased. I love...
Yeah, because no one was giving out review codes. Kinda weird how kind of suspicious, you might think.
The Arkham games. I think they're probably the best superhero experiences we've maybe ever gotten. Playing as Batman, sneaking around, doing 50-hit combos, and trying to take down all sorts of different villains is such a great experience. This game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, is technically a sequel to that. We are now killing Batman, and Superman, and the Flash, and Wonder Woman. We're killing the entire Justice League because Brainiac at the beginning of the game has come down from space and corrupted the minds of the world's greatest heroes, and now us, as the Suicide Squad, have been roped into trying to take them down. So I want to talk about the gameplay, and I want to talk about the story in separate chunks because I have some very direct criticisms of both. I want to talk about what parts of them work and don't work because there is a sliver of goodness here that I think is actually kind of impressive, but for the most part this is just a mess.
We'll see about that.
So, when it comes to the combat of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it's just your standard, always online looter shooter. You just do very short missions that are all the exact same. Literally, in the first 6 hours, every single mission is just killing the same 5 dudes. It's Brainiac's little weird mind control minions. Some of them are snipers or melee dudes, but they all look identical. There's some brutes and stuff, but you just shoot them or melee them to take out their shields, and then they're dead. That's it. This is the entire game. Literally, the entire game is just, hey, defeat 3 waves, dismantle this gun, shoot this weak point, and then traverse to the next location. This does take place in Metropolis instead of basically your...
Yep, that's a live service grind for you. All bullshit.
Standard Gotham City adventures or Arkham Asylum, but every mission, you kind of just fly to it, defeat 3 waves of enemies, and then get a random gun. It is so painfully basic. I genuinely am confused by it. Now, there's 4 different characters that you can play as.
Riddle me this, Batman.
There's Deadshot, the Master Assassin, King Shark, the evil king of the ocean. There's Harley Quinn, obviously, who's been already seen and witnessed in the Arkham games. She's very badass here. And then, of course, there's Captain Boomerang, who, for some reason, just never even throws his boomerang. Everybody in this just shoots. Each of the characters...
He throws his boomerang. Were you not watching? Like, his specials are boomerang oriented. I can't believe he didn't see that. Did he not play his boomerang? I don't know.
Has a different weapon speciality, so like obviously the Master Assassin of Deadshot is using things like sniper rifles and assault rifles, whereas King Shark is using more normal guns, Harley Quinn is using pistols and tiny little handheld stuff, and Captain Boomerang uses shotguns for some reason. None of this makes a damn bit of sense. You're like throwing grenades and doing melee combos. The characters do play slightly different, which I'll admit I didn't expect. They have different traversal methods, so they're using a grapple hook or a super jump, or obviously I've mostly played with Deadshot and he's got a jetpack, but this just never feels fun. The biggest critique I can say about this game is that it's just straight up boring. Defeating bosses, seeing some crazy cutscenes, or exploring some cool parts of Metropolis to get some hidden unlockable item, or even doing Riddler puzzles and stuff. It's never fun. It's never like cheer at the screen. It's never great to get that next unlockable or upgrade your weapon. Everything is just so paper thin, and I do think a lot of that comes down to the fact that the story makes no damn...
Riddle me this, Deadshot.
sense. How are we following up the Arkham games with Batman being the main villain? Now, obviously, I realize that they have been tainted by Brainiac. They've all been completely controlled. The Justice League is gone as we currently know them. But even from that standpoint, it just feels weird to hear the Batman that we have been playing for over 10 years, and now he's killing cops, he's destroying civilians, he's torturing people, he's working for Brainiac, he's trapping the other members of the Justice League. And then, okay, this isn't a spoiler, it's called Kill the Justice League. You kill all the members of the Justice League, and a lot of times, not only do they die like bitches, it just feels weird because everybody will not stop making jokes. I've talked about this in other videos, but it just kind of annoys me that when people try to write comedy these days, it's just joke, 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 and none of them are funny. Harley Quinn being like, oh, I like when people use sophisticated words because somebody said the word like niche. Harley Quinn is constantly arguing with Deadshot, who's constantly just mentioning his daughter and how he needs to kill Amanda Waller. King Shark keeps just being like, I enjoy sightseeing. I really like reading all these tourist manuals. It literally drives me nuts when there's hours and hours and hours of jokes and none of them are ever funny, especially because we're killing the Justice League. We kill members of the Justice League and they're immediately making jokes. When they're killing characters that we love, when they're just executing Batman, they're making jokes about how Batman sucks. It's the Batman we already know. Okay, so I know if you're buying a game called Kill the Justice League, you expect to kill the Justice League. But there are cool deaths that are well written, and then there's bad deaths that just don't work, even from a narrative perspective. Like, it's boring to see characters completely act in a way that doesn't really fit their own narrative. Look, I read a lot of Batman comics. I've seen Batman fight aliens. Batman's obviously done a lot of weird stuff, so I don't have a problem with Batman being bad. There's a lot of evil incarnations they've done of characters like Superman and corrupted Wonder Woman and dark evil Flash. My problem is that they're just so badly done. It's cartoonish to watch them just become like, oh yeah, I'm evil Flash, which now means I like to vaporize people and torture them to death. Okay, that's great. But then when the entire game is this one joke, this one narrative, this one focus, and none of it lands, drives me nuts. All right, you know what else sucks about this? The always online aspect. This game right now is getting mass refunded on Steam. It's getting mass refunded all over the place. I'm probably going to try and request a refund, and that's because the servers keep going down. This is an always online experience. I paid $100 for early access to play this absolute freaking train.
Sucker.
Wreck, and then whenever they want, they could just turn the game off. Now, that's stupid, but additionally, consider the implication of that. That means this game is definitely going to fail. It's going to completely crash and burn. Obviously, nobody's going to buy this game. It freaking sucks. But when it crashes and burns, does it cease to exist? Does the $100 I spent just get deleted when they turn the servers off and I can't even log in to play it for pity's sake? It just gets gone. Now, I've seen people discussing the fact that this game is bizarre because pretty much everybody that made Rocksteady and made the Batman games, they're gone. Everybody is trying to fix this game internally. It's got tons of battle passes and online requirements.
He still hasn't mentioned it. The Baby Company.
The game is just straight up not ready to be played. In my opinion, after having played 6 hours of this and killed a couple members of the Justice League myself, it just feels like such a stupid project. Like, why am I just shooting members of the Justice League to death? Like, why is every single member of the Justice League's weakness is just being shot? Why has nobody tried to shoot the Justice League before? Isn't it kind of weird that these people just decide to kill the Justice League and they do it like... Every part of this game is boring, it's bad, I don't care about the talent trees, I don't care about the weapon upgrades, I don't care about going back to base to talk to a little kid reincarnation version of Poison Ivy to work on the elemental weaknesses of my weapons and grenades and melee. Every part of this game sucks. It's difficult to even put a score on it because, quite frankly, I don't think this game is done. If I had to really put a number on this, like just go over to the ratings board and put a big score on it, I'd probably give it a 2 or a 3 out of 10 because just every part of it seems so undone. Maybe in a couple years they'll figure out how to finish this, or maybe they'll do some sort of project like how...
Nope.
At the end of the Avengers game, they patched it so you could play it offline and get all the microtransactions for free, but, I mean, at this point, I don't get it.
Wait, did they do that? Did they actually do that?
They're going to probably keep rolling out different heroes to kill and different daily quests and different login bonuses and different battle passes, but at this point, I'm done. I've played enough online games, I've played enough looter shooters, I've played enough to know that this is a freaking trash heap, and I'm ready to walk away. But what do you guys think about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. God, I can't believe I spent $100 on this. Oh my God. That's good. I'll be honest. I'm eating ramen. We're going to keep eating ramen, all right? This is the ramen budget. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Banishers? Never heard of it.
a bunch of Silent Hill news. That was so freaking good. I just finished watching the PlayStation State of Play that's kicking off 2024, and clearly, Sony wanted that to be a very special showcase. It was 40 minutes of new gameplay, crazy releases, tons of dates of when games are coming out, surprise reveals, lots of remakes and remasters, and across the board, it all looked incredibly fantastic.
Bro, you must be the only guy who liked it, because... oh, man. Because one guy had a complete mental breakdown.
Fantastic. Sometimes these showcases have these like dull parts, particular games that just don't look good or the trailers are poorly edited, but this time
I think it was it wasn't King Thrash. I'd had to look it up. It was funny. It was funny. He had a complete mental breakdown when Hideo Kojima started talking after downing like 6 different shrooms.
I'd probably give this a straight up 8 out of 10 because everything they showed off looks like stuff I definitely want to try. But let's go through this bit by bit. Let's actually talk about this entire state of play in case you happen to miss it. And I'm going to do a follow-up video because they showed a surprise shadow drop, which is a new Silent Hill game called A Short Message, which you guys know I am a Silent Hill fanatic. So let's actually start there. Hi, I'm DreamcastGuy.
If he's a fanatic, then if he, God have mercy on him if he played Homecoming, or Downpour. Jeez.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, we got a bunch of Silent Hill news today, including a detailed look at Silent Hill 2 Remake, which unfortunately still does not have a release date. They just said in development for the PlayStation 5. The gameplay they showed, though, looks absolutely fantastic. It's definitely much more action-y than the original was. Anybody who's played a bunch of the old-school horror games, even classic Resident Evil or games that maybe you haven't heard of that are a bit more obscure, there are games that happen to be spooky, but don't exactly,
Did you mention obscure? Super mid.
You're not doing quick turn shooting. This is more of a just updated style of it. It looks like James Sunderland has discovered how to be a third-person shooter. I think this looks incredibly good, but also kind of different. How do I explain this? The classic Silent Hill always felt kind of spooky, but purposefully slow. This looks quicker. Now, on the topic of slow, though, this other thing they showed off, Silent Hill, A Short Message. This seems to be a completely combat-free, spooky experience. Perhaps it's like some sort of basically apology from Konami about the death of Silent Hills, because that game was always just a spooky hallway to us. So now we're getting a game that seems to be playing as a kid who's being bullied, and there's all sorts of creepy notes and monsters. I'm going to do a separate video talking about that, because I'm about to install it, and I'm terribly curious as to how it's actually going to play and how spooky and scary it's going to turn out. Now, let's go through this all in correct order as they revealed it. The showcase began with Helldivers 2. This is a squad-based live service shooter that's coming out next week.
Of course, Final Fantasy VII background, just like Max, dude.
The first one was great. I really like the original Helldivers, so I'm definitely going to buy this. I'm definitely invested in checking it out, but I'm definitely curious to see how they're turning it into a live service game. Anytime you take something that's single player and fun, or even multiplayer like the original was, and turning it into something with battle passes, I'm always a bit skeptical of it. Now, a game I was previously a bit gun-shy about, slightly skeptical for, was Stellar Blade. They did a huge, deep trailer about this game, showing off the fact that it's about these creatures called the Nativa who have taken over Earth, and now humans have fled the planet. We're playing as the people that are going here to try and kill these monsters and save stuff, but it's also post-apocalyptic. The humans have not been here for a very long time, so we're saving it so that they can come back. Well,
so it's Nier Automata again. Only plot twist.
Has some very heavy Devil May Cry and Bayonetta influences, or something like Nier Automata. Lots of dodging, heavy parries, crazy amounts.
I'm surprised you even mentioned that. Jeez.
Of hit combos and gorgeous takedowns. Stellar Blade looked cool in the original teasers. Now I get it. Previously it looked cool, but now I definitely get it. So when it comes to surprises, Sonic X Shadow Generations is a giant surprise in my opinion. It's coming out this autumn. There were rumors that we were going to get a Sonic Generations remaster, and it seems like Sega wanted to go one step past that and go, okay, this is a remaster with a bit extra on top. This looks pretty cool. I mean, it's Sonic Generations, which already kicked ass, but they're adding in a bunch of Sonic levels, and I guess we can play the entire game as Shadow. That seems fun to me. Okay, next up, 2 games I personally don't care about. V-Rising is coming to the PlayStation 5. That game's been early access for a while. I know they've been slowly fleshing it out. I'm just really not into survival games, even if it does have a cool vampire. Not my cup of tea, but I'm glad it's coming to console. They also announced Dave the Diver, which was a huge, huge pixel indie darling last year.
My question is, why is it Godzilla vs. Destroya Godzilla? Like, are we gonna see Godzilla's nuclear meltdown?
Is coming to the PlayStation 5, and they're adding in Godzilla for some reason, which is a very strange, cool surprise. And finally, a game that's about to come out that I'm going to play to review because I'm morbidly curious about it, but it's Foam Stars. Square Enix decided to basically make their own version of Splatoon, but less fun and way less cool looking. Foam Stars comes out February 6th. It's getting added to PlayStation Plus. And
even the Sony fanboy doesn't like it. Nobody's gonna play this game. Take one for the team. Angry
they
Joe
did a big trailer about that.
Too.
No thanks. But when it comes to good surprises, there's Judas. This is by the creator of BioShock. Now, obviously, I'm a big
System
BioShock
Shock
fanboy.
3.
I've got BioShock tattoos, so anything inspired by BioShock, I'm in.
What? I'm sorry, what?
So anything inspired by BioShock, I'm instantly just ready to check out. This is by Ken Levine. This is by the dude who... Now, obviously, I'm a big BioShock fanboy. I've got...
How come he didn't get the... Did he never play System Shock 1 and 2? Like, they just made a remake of System Shock 1.
BioShock tattoos, so anything inspired by BioShock, I'm instantly...
Like, BioShock is, like, the successor to System Shock. In fact, BioShock Infinite's 1999 mode, that's System Shock.
Just ready to check out. This is by Ken Levine. This is by the dude who invented BioShock, and it just looks like BioShock. Apparently the catchphrase of the game is going to be, I'm waking you up whether you like it or not. I have no idea what the plot's going to be, but it kind of looks like BioShock in space, or dark, gritty, futuristic BioShock. You know, that's kind of what I expected, and it looks like we're getting exactly what we hoped for. Next up, Metro Awakening. So they...
He just doesn't know what System Shock is.
showed off a couple of VR games. I'm not really into VR in general, and I don't even have a PSVR 2. This is a new Metro game that's coming to PSVR 2, and Metro is incredibly cool. Exploring these destroyed Russian subway tunnels and battling against monsters has been incredibly cool in the classic game, so it's nice that they're making a VR version of that. I'm almost tempted to buy a PSVR 2 just for that, or find somebody that has a VR so I can try it for myself. Next up, they showed off Dragon's Dogma 2. This comes out March 22nd, and this was a big gameplay showcase. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff like the combos in this, the amount of tight movement and the crazy magic. lipstick. This looks like one of those games that I think is really going to take over the internet. Occasionally I'll see a game and I'm like, all right, that's the next Elden Ring. That's going to be the thing where people are posting gameplay clips for months and months and months. That looks like it is going to be a very big, very fun game. In fact, the director of it has said that they purposely did not put fast travel in the game because every square inch of it is interesting. Basically, like, all right, if your game is big and fun, people are going to want to wander around and do stuff. They're trying to achieve that. And from this gameplay display, I think they nailed it. Next up, Until Dawn Remastered. Okay, Sony, I don't really get it. To be honest, it looks the exact same to me anyways. I always liked Until Dawn, so it getting a remaster, I'm going to buy it because I want to pop those trophies, but I mean, hopefully it has some sort of like added behind-the-scenes stuff or character arts and extras would be nice. So, Rise of Ronin, in my opinion, is the biggest surprise of the showcase. We'd seen bits of this before. We'd seen them actually display it at previous PlayStation showcases, but this was the first time where they just showed us like classic, the controller is in your hand style gameplay, and it looks absolutely...
Like, see, there was a watchtower, just like a... Like, you see, this looks like an Ubisoft game, but it's by Koei Tecmo for some reason.
Absolutely glorious. It takes place in an era of Japan when East meets West. We're playing in like the late 1800s when you're starting to see people come into ports. There's classic architecture and lots of people walking around in suits, but at the same time, there's people that are still carrying around samurai swords and getting in duels to the death. We're playing as a Ronin, which is a wandering samurai, but you can use guns and stealth and takedowns like a ninja. This looks incredible, especially the traversal. We've got a grapple hook that can be used to shoot us up in the air and then a hang glider. This is also coming out March 22nd. Rise of Ronin, I think, is maybe one of my most hyped games of the year, other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is my one disappointment. They did straight up say that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is not here because it's getting its own state of play on February 6th, which, okay, is kind of a double-edged, like, it sucks that it's not here today, but since we're getting an entire state of play dedicated to it, that's still pretty awesome. And additionally, we have heard that there's going to be a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo. That's definitely when we're going to...
That's how it turned out. Two live streams in 1 week.
See the demo. So February 6th, I'm definitely ready for that.
Going for like 4 this week.
Now, they ended off with the part of this that some people seem to love and some people seem to hate, which was Death Stranding 2.
At least he's honest.
This looked like a fever dream. Talking claymation puppets. Sam Bridges is back. We're going to different countries.
Okay. Yeah, same claymation. Do you not know what stop motion is? It's not just for clay.
And still delivering packages. There's floating mummies that are shooting out squid ink, stuff like a clown playing guitar to fight off giant robot samurai. I mean, I love Hideo Kojima a lot. I'm pretty open-minded. This trailer, though, is like a lot of Kojima stuff where it truly makes no sense. The game will be good, but man, these trailers are purposely out of context.
You were doing so good until you said, oh. You were doing so well, Dreamcast guy.
Text gibberish. They did announce, though, that Sony is entering a special partnership with Hideo Kojima to make a stealth action game, which is...
Movie. Stealth action movie. Because... really, Hideo Kojima should be making movies, not video games.
Interesting, because it basically sounds like he's going to finally make a new Metal Gear. Even if that's not the name of it, it's going to be a new Metal Gear. Now,
tactical espionage action.
Now, people are wondering when he's going to do this, because Death Stranding isn't coming out till 2025. Then he has that game with Xbox called Overdose. So when is this coming out? 2026? 2027?
Huh? Good lord, he's 60? Yeesh. Literally, he said O. It says OD. The article says OD. It's an there. It doesn't even mention that it's called overdose. Why would... All I know about it is a game called ODT.
I mean, these deals, sometimes I feel like talking about these deals so early on is a bit of a mistake, but that's the way the film industry does it, and that's the way that Kojima is obsessed with the film industry, so clearly he wants to do that. But overall, this was a pretty good showcase. I had a lot of freaking fun watching it, and now I'm going to go install that freaking Silent Hill short message and make a video about that, because who knows how spooky that's going to be. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Tell me what you thought of this showcase and which parts of it wowed you the most. Thanks for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
The drawing of him just ignores his acne scars. Jeez. Will this work? $2022. Oh, he couldn't put very many games on his top 10. Like, hold on a second. 2022. This game is 2019. SNES. Like, it's already February. He should have had, like... It just doesn't work. Yikes, cringe. Yeah, and he didn't even mention anything about, well, he didn't mention about he didn't mention anything about the Bad Company. Wait. Everyone loves... It's not even 10 and I'm already bored with this guy. Minty. Ah, well. I don't want to watch any more of his videos. Okay. How is that? How is this idiot still a... Ooh, hey, I like it like this. Zoomed in like this? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. No. Oh. You know what? Shit, that wasn't on the, that wasn't on the window capture. Yeah, yeah, I like it zoomed in like this. Okay. All right.
Unlike some hearts, Reese's don't taste like desperation. Happy Valentine's Day.
What's up, Gamers? Dreamcast Guy here.
Did BoJack Horseman just come on to me?
Talking today about the biggest game in the world, Pal World, a game that initially, when it was revealed, was just joked about as being Pokemon with guns. Well, it launched in early access and has...
It is Pokemon with guns.
Somehow completely taken over the planet. It is immediately one of the biggest games of all time. On Steam, on Xbox, I mean, I don't even understand it, but I want to talk about it because people seem to be a bit upset by its success and are now accusing it of stealing. Let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you can like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So, my mom died just a couple days ago. If I'm a bit different in videos this week, that's the reason why.
Bro, fuck. I feel shitty now. 3 weeks ago, gee. And you're still making videos after your mother. Wow. Bro, my dad died and I was crying for like a week. Like, I couldn't do anything. My mother was distraught.
Honestly, making videos is my favorite thing in the entire world, so I'm going to keep making content and I hope you guys enjoy it. But let's have fun today. So,
holy shit, I could see it in his eyes.
This is Pal World. It is literally surpassing every possible concurrent player record. It's passing sales records in just a couple days.
We all know it's much bigger than that now.
It's now reached 1.5 million concurrent players on Steam. It's already sold 5 million copies in the first 3 days. Truly,
14 million more than that.
It surpasses expectations, but even, honestly, logic. This game looks funny. I mean, I'm not going to say it looks bad or anything, but every time I see gameplay, it's just Pokemon Fortnite. You beat people up, you capture stuff. You can see this person here. This is some Sharako gameplay.
Pokemon Fortnite? What?
Play. You know, it's Pokemon, but with extra crafting and stuff. So it's kind of a survival game. It seems fun. I don't like survival games, which is the main reason I haven't been playing it. But what's crazy to me is that people seem to be completely angered by the success of Pal World. This game has actually completely exploded The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Any other game that's possibly being talked about, all the oxygen has completely been sucked out of the room in favor of this. And it's brought about an interesting bit of pushback, particularly from Nintendo fans. Now, I'm not going to claim that all Nintendo fans are bonkers or that they're overly defensive, but there has been this group of Poke fanatics who...
Bonkers. Yep, that's Harmon Smith. That's Harmon Smith.
Seem to be a bit pissed about the fact that the designs are similar. Nintendo people are brain dead. That's a sheep. Have you seen a sheep? Okay, so Let's break down why this controversy is actually happening. Apparently, the director of Palworld did an interview a couple years ago where he discussed the idea of AI art. He discussed the idea of ripping off Pokemon. He said he had a chance to do a special conference with Nintendo where some Nintendo developers were talking about how they make games, why their games sell so much, and he said that I was turned off by Nintendo because they focus on uniqueness.
They just should have told him, hey, I know what the players want from Pokemon. Just give me the funds and I'll make you the best-selling Pokemon game in years. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet look fucking atrocious.
That's really what he said. So people have taken this interview and kind of blown it up. Now, I don't even blame people for jumping to conclusions. I mean, that's a pretty strong statement of looking at the success of Nintendo and saying, oh, they're too focused on good ideas. Bit of a strange statement, but now everybody is accusing them of not just ripping off Pokemon, but doing AI art to generate all the designs in the game. And the director has straight up said, no, we didn't copy it. I could stand by this in court. I'm not sure if this is actually going to turn into a court case, but honestly, I'm getting to a point where I wouldn't be too shocked by it. I have seen some takes like this by Synth Potato. I haven't played Palworld.
Oh! My boy Mischief! Oh! Mischief is really good. He, I think he was in an Actman video, and, Actman stood up for him.
Yet the insecurity over defensiveness of Nintendo fanatics is really something. Palworld is as much of a copy of Pokemon as Lies of P.
And Synth Potato, I think he's in I think he's in Oh No, It's Alex. I think he's in his circle of friends too.
Is a ripoff of a Souls game. Too many of y'all are just serious. Too many of y'all seem just furious that someone made a game better than Nintendo. Now, some people are praising Palworld even if they don't play it because...
Holy shit, Synth Potato.
It's actual Nintendo competition. The last couple Pokemon games have not been the best. Sword and Shield was called lazy and overly slow. Obviously, Scarlet and Violet had such bad performance issues, they had to go into the code and remove Pokemon in the open world so it'd run it better than 15 frames a second. Some people are saying competition is what Nintendo needs most. More people making games that are cutesy and cool and fun, that way they'll finally have that fire under their ass. I think of it that way. I think that this is cool that people are actually discussing the idea of making a Pokemon...
Fire under the ass or fire under the crack pipe? Because Palworld was cooking before Pokemon could even think of doing it.
...style game that isn't just Pokemon. I do hope this encourages Game Freak or other studios that are making collect-em-all style games to make a better product instead of just making something that's quicker. Now, I did see this. The level of lies and general slander being thrown at Palworld because Nintendo fanboys can't handle Pokemon having competent competition is absolutely ridiculous. Community notes has been lacking on a lot of these posts, spreading straight-up misinformation as well. Don't believe the lies that Palworld is using AI-generated art. Liars are claiming that Palworld used art...
That's our boy Mischief.
Based on a post made by their CEO. The problem is he was talking about BuzzFeed using AI to create Fakemon, not Pocket Pair's staff. Now, I have seen all these tweets. Essentially, it's the people saying, hey, AI-generated stuff is fine, but he's not saying AI-generated video games are all right. Honestly, I think Palworld looks fun. It looks different. It looks like a game that's trying something unique, and it managed to nail it. It's Pokemon with guns, and crafting, and building, and base construction. Does this look like Pokemon to you? To me, it absolutely doesn't. I guess my final thoughts on this are the fact that we need to be more open-minded to companies trying weird derivative stuff. Anybody who's been alive for a million years like I have has probably heard back in the day when any first-person shooter was called a Doom clone. When any...
He's right. They were all Doom clones. They weren't called first-person shooters until id Software one-upped their own game with Quake.
Open world action game was called a GTA ripoff. Sometimes you gotta be able to imitate to create. not just boomer shooters, not just knockoff Final Fantasy RPGs and stuff. You need to be able to think outside the box. And sometimes that means playing with the rules you know.
That's what Mistwalker did. They said, oh, we want to make a Final Fantasy game, and let's do it for Xbox 360. That's how we got Lost Odyssey. Outside the box.
Know best. Rip stuff off, cheat, steal, come up with some great ideas, but make it fun. I don't know. These are just what I've been thinking. What do you guys think about Palworld, and what do you think about this controversy? Honestly, I see more people mad about the game than people actually happy about it, which is strange because it's the biggest game on the planet. I guess it's one of those things where people that are enjoying it are online, people that aren't enjoying it are on the internet complaining. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. This has legitimately been the hardest week of my life. I had to move, just dealing with some personal life stuff. Obviously, mom dying, it's been rough. I'm gonna play just so many video games. You guys have no idea how much video games have just been helping me stay sane. Man, it's been bad. What are you gonna do? Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.
Could have sworn I put it on my wish list. Okay, who is that? Right, what did Endymion say? Nope. Monkey go flop. Yeah, let's go to his. I have so many questions.
There's so many features about the Z8 that really appeal to me. Video that looks cinematic.
Being able to shoot ProRes video.
Most of you. Palworld, now on the Blitz app. With the Blitz app's interactive map, just search or toggle locations and use the interactive markers. Use the Blitz app search overlay to find any pal. Use the compass to efficiently navigate to everything you need to find. Free to download on Windows.
The planet is filling with plastic, and unless we can find a sustainable alternative, we'll all die, and our kids will die, and our kids will die, and our kids.
What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and I got a pretty loaded video here today where I want to delve into a few topics. From Stellar Blade being called racist due to the names of certain things in-game, to The Last of Us Part 2 recently being hailed as a feminist victory, in what they call a post-Gamergate world. Yeah, I know, we'll get there. To begin, there was this article back from 2021 that got unearthed recently and started circulating on social media about Stellar Blade, and it's titled, Project Eve's natives may send the wrong message. It should be stated this article was written prior to Stellar Blade's official name release, as it was known originally as Project Eve. But anyway, thegamer.com back then complained that Stellar Blade's enemies have problematic names considering they were originally called natives. as in NA:TIVES. Nowadays, these enemies are officially called Natibas. So the name has changed, but the term is apparently still used somewhat in the game anyway, so the point of this still stands. The gamer believes the name natives being used as an invading force upon Earth to be racist and tone-deaf, with thegamer.com saying, first and foremost, the name is simply a little bizarre in its stylization, as the—
No, not the gamer! Ah. You had so much credibility until you said the gamer. Oh. I'll be right back. All right. Also, I'm sorry that yeah, if yeah, this is the game. Yeah, it's sort of. Is it like a porn game? Maybe. So it's rated M for it. Nope, not even M? What is the rating? Where's the ESRB rating? Spike Chunsoft. Okay, that was the wrong button. Peeping Dorm Manager. No dice. Am I going full retard here? Because where is the ESRB rating? Can't be that bad. It didn't ask me for. Anyway, stupid.
Idea of calling an invading alien race anything resembling the word natives is simply counterintuitive at best. However, with a little consideration and contextualization, it becomes a lot more problematic. They further state the natives being an invading force is an incredibly confusing sentiment. Generally, the term native or indigenous are used with reference to a colonized country and as a mean of identifying the colonized as opposed to the colonizers. They say more, but let's go with this for now. It should be stated that Stellar Blade's story and themes are very clearly influenced by the Book of Revelation. Considering its main character is named Eve and the main male character is Adam, and the enemies clearly look more like biblical angels or demons that have invaded Earth. There's also the added lore bit that allegedly most of humanity has fled Earth prior to the events of the main game, in a sort of rapture-like event, and I think, although I can't confirm of course, but my belief is that the enemies you're facing might be those who fled Earth in the rapture getting transformed by some sort of alien-like entity. And whatever it is that is invading Earth from the stars is using the very same people who fled as cannon fodder to enact their own will. Again, I could be wrong, I mean the game game's not out yet, but that's what I gathered when the enemy race was originally named natives. Since if the monsters invading Earth were called natives on purpose, not to mention the NA of natives being separated from the rest of the word, my brain immediately thinks the NA stands for not anymore, as in these enemies are humans which are native to Earth of course, but they're not human anymore due to whatever alien infection has consumed them. Of course, now the enemies are called Natibas, but I think this wasn't done for problematic reasons or anything, and more so because the original name likely gives away too much plot details about the enemies already as I stated. Of course, I could be wrong, but this wouldn't be the first time a game has used mutated humans to threaten the remaining humanity that's left. See any zombie game ever, for example. Of course, as I explained it, I think the idea of calling the enemy race natives is actually really cool, since canonically it makes sense. But of course, since these are Western game journalists, their heads immediately turn into a white savior complex angle whenever they hear a word being used to personify something considered villainous. The idea that natives cannot be evil is
That's it. That's what we call it. Native... game journalist brain.
ridiculous, and if we really want to go there, we also know that native culture was constantly at war long before things like colonization ever happened. Unironically, you can even use that one Stone Toss comic where the redneck guy says go back to where you came from, and then a native guy says cool, when are you leaving? Then the comic reveals how every generation and iteration of native culture ends up asking the previous dominated native culture when they're leaving. Maybe that comic offends people, but I think it was a good depiction to show that nobody on this planet, no matter what culture you originate from, is free of heinous acts. And people need to realize that you can't look at any one single culture and believe that they're all good and go lucky. War is coded into the DNA of humanity. Whether we're fighting with guns, swords, or stones, the evil of mankind will always persist until we no longer exist. What does Fallout say every time you boot it up? War never changes? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, it looks like that's the end of the stream. Swear.